Chelsea are in the market for a new manager after Mauricio Pochettino departed earlier this week, and according to the independent journalist Jacob Steinberg, the Blues have been holding talks with the representatives of Ipswich Town's Kieran McKenna for a number of weeks. Despite an upturn in form since the start of 2024, Chelsea and Pochettino mutually agreed to part ways on Tuesday evening. If the Argentine manager had been relieved of his duties earlier in the season when Chelsea were battling in the bottom half of the Premier League, it wouldn't have been a surprise, but the news undoubtedly shocked a large portion of supporters. It is understood the split is down to a difference of opinion between the Argentinian and Chelsea over strategy. Pochettino, who was hired last summer on a 2-year deal, was frustrated in his attempts to be given more power, and it was decided it was better to bring an end to the relationship, rather than risk the possibility of a major fallout next season. Although there was support for Pochettino at board level, it was not unanimous, with Eghbali understood to have been lukewarm regarding the former Tottenham manager. Chelsea have attempted to work in a collaborative way since being bought by Todd Bowley and Clearlake Capital 2 years ago, and they will look for a young, progressive coach willing to buy into their way of working. Stewart and Winstanley said, "On behalf of everyone at Chelsea, we would like to express our gratitude to Mauricio for his service this season. He will be welcome back to Stamford Bridge anytime, and we wish him all the very best in his future coaching career." Pochettino said, "Thank you to the Chelsea ownership group and sporting directors for the opportunity to be part of this football club's history. The club is now well positioned to keep moving forward in the Premier League and Europe in the years to come." The Argentinian's backroom staff members have also left. Chelsea are now looking for their fourth permanent manager in the past 2 years. It had seemed that Pochettino had ushered in some stability, with his young squad largely behind him, and they secured European football after a fine end to the season. However, Chelsea had concerns over Pochettino's tactics, and before the end of season review, one well-placed source privately described his training methods as antiquated. Pochettino was not going to be given more control over signings. Transfers have been a source of friction. Pochettino wanted more experience in his squad, but Chelsea's preference has been to sign young players, exemplified by the arrivals last summer of Moises Caicedo, Romeo Lavia, Christopher Nkunku, Cole Palmer, Axel Disasi, Nicholas Jackson and Leslie Ugochukwu. Those deals form part of more than £1 billion spent by the owners since their takeover in May 2022. Pochettino was also keen to ensure that Kanu Gallagher and Trevor Chalobah continue at the club next season, whereas Chelsea are open to offers for the two academy graduates as they seek to stay within profitability and sustainability rules. Homegrown players count as pure profit when sold. The departure of Pochettino has not gone down well with the players and continues a turbulent period for Chelsea under this ownership. Thomas Tuchel was sacked in September 2022. Graham Potter lasted less than 7 months as his successor, and 2 interim managers, Bruno Saltore and Frank Lampard, were also employed the last season. Pochettino had brought coherence at the end of his stint, winning his last 5 matches and drawing with Aston Villa after an FA Cup semi-final defeat and a 5-0 hammering at Arsenal, but he has gone with 1 year remaining on his contract. Pochettino's sudden availability may come into Manchester United's thinking when they assess whether to continue with Erik ten Hag as their manager. United have considered appointing Pochettino in the past. The backroom team at Stamford Bridge will now be working around the clock to find a replacement, with Ipswich's McKenna one of their options. According to Steinberg of The Independent, Chelsea have been speaking to the representatives of McKenna for a number of weeks, with Brighton and Hove Albion also keen on the young manager. The report claims that Chelsea's interest in the 38-year-old has slowed down Brighton's attempts to secure his signature. McKenna, who inspired Ipswich's astonishing promotion to the Premier League, has emerged as one of the leading contenders. Brighton want the 38-year-old to replace Roberto De Zerbi, but Chelsea have been speaking to his representatives for a number of weeks. It is understood Chelsea's interest has slowed Brighton's attempts to secure a deal for McKenna. Interestingly, Chelsea appear to have been sounding out potential managers long before Pochettino left the club. Although it might have seemed like a sudden parting of ways, the Blues have clearly been considering making a change for a while now. McKenna, described as phenomenal by Chris Sutton, might not have plenty of experience in management, but Chelsea could be looking to find a younger, progressive coach. McKenna was recently awarded the League Managers Association's Manager of the Year, an accolade for coaches across multiple leagues. Sean Dyche, Unai Emery and John Mousinho were also nominated, but McKenna was presented with the award on Tuesday evening. Ipswich, despite only being promoted from League One the previous season, the Tractor Boys finished second in the Championship and will be plying their trade in the Premier League next campaign. Kieran McKenna accepts speculation over his position is natural amid links with Chelsea and Manchester United. After being crowned the LMA Manager of the Year, McKenna was probed about his future. He claimed that speculation was to be expected after a successful couple of seasons. Speaking to Sky Sports, the 38-year-old said, "The club's got such a positive season and such a bright future ahead. We've achieved so much, it's been an incredible 2 years, and when you have those 2 years, there's always speculation and things like that. There's been that every summer. But I know how much everyone's looking forward to the season. I know the club's in a fantastic path, and everyone's just really looking forward to the season ahead. When you do well as a manager or as a player, there's always going to be speculation, and I know what we've achieved isn't an ordinary thing, so of course there's going to be speculation then. But that's not where my focus is, to be honest. Tonight it's about what we've achieved last season, what we've achieved over the last couple of seasons, not just myself but everyone at the football club. It's been a wonderful couple of years, so tonight's about celebrating that. I know everyone's looking forward to next season, and the club's going to be in a really good place going into that season." McKenna has just a year remaining on his current contract. He, however, is just one name involved in what promises to be a managerial merry-go-round this summer. Chelsea could line up with a bold new look if they make Kieran McKenna their next manager, while also signing stars like Victor Osimhen. Should McKenna move to Stamford Bridge, he would likely deploy his favoured 4-2-3-1 system, which worked wonders in England's second and third tiers. The possession-heavy system relies on short, sharp passes and fluidity in the final third, as well as a solid double pivot in midfield. McKenna's left-back often pushes high to create a four-man attack behind the striker, with the right-back dropping in to create a three-man defence. The two midfielders stay deep, while the left winger moves inside to become a second striker. This is different to Pochettino's version of the same system, which saw the left-back invert into midfield. That pushed one of the 6S up as a false tentage, keeping the left forward out wide. And with a few additions, McKenna's amazing take on a classic shape could work wonders with Chelsea's squad. So are you happy that Pochettino has left the club? Let me know in the comments. And is Kieran McKenna the perfect replacement? It will be interesting to see what happens in the near future and if this is the right decision. Check out my next vid.